right, man, it went off bad. Yeah, calling yourself African American, is how they use and categorize word names and how they use names in society, and it makes Jake feel better about himself. Black community thrown out there makes Jake feel better. Oh, we have a black community now. We're not niggas. We're African Americans now. We're somebody, and that's how Esau dragged niggas along. You know, and away from knowing their true history, their true origin, who they are. You know, and and all these Negroes that like to call themselves African Americans, they all got that same coon spirit, man. You know, but I wanted to mention too that you know, remember the times like I think it began in the late '80s, maybe mid '80s to '90s. Remember, Jake started using so-called what he thought was African words, African names. I mean, you had the Hakeems and the Jaquans and all that, and it made Jake feel like he had his own identity. And you know, I don't even think I've never really met. I mean, heard of any African name, Hakeem, Jaquan, or Dayton, Daquan. I don't know where they get those names from, but those names, if you really think about it, is close to the Hebrew. Them Africans' names, they don't even talk. They don't even talk like close to our language or what we used to talk, how we used to talk. Hakim is like Hakam, which means the bread. Kham is bread. I mean, Kham is hot, Slocky. Lakam is bread. Kham is hot. The hot. When you start breaking certain these name barriers and these language barriers down, you could tell some similarities and dissimilarities. And there was a big language barrier between you know Judah and Israel, between the blacks and Latins, you know uh, the Spanish and English, so to speak. But hey, Latin is written. That's mentioned in the scriptures, man. Of the Roman. See, you gotta shave off the fat of this history, because a lot of our people intermingled, you know, with customs, and that's why the Most High was like breaking all that shit up by sending the prophets. He was like, "Hey, go down in there and this place and break all that shit up and tell my people to come out of these heathen ways." You know, we're right here in America in the midst of all this, and we're breaking up the heathen ways, man. You know, um, so there's in between, even our captivities, there was a close knit of you being known to be called this because of that, called a certain name because of oppression, state of oppression, because of your enemy, because of the names the enemy put on you, or or you was like I said, we have found favor in some of these captivities, like Moses and Joseph, to where you know we had prominent positions. We had it mentions that we had Greek names and calling ourselves, just like here in America, man. Calling yourself African American is just a name that put on you because of just oppression, man. It has nothing to do with the origin of what we were called, or who we were as a people, and people don't like to follow history and find out really what happened, um, and then you'll find out that, hey, man, wait a minute, that didn't even happen, or that did happen, or this is the reason why it happened, and this is the reason why they call me this, you know. You could be called something for the rest of your life, and then when you finally look it up, you could be like, damn, this means stupid, or this means nigga, a monkey. The enemy that named your ass and shit. You ain't supposed to find out who you are. What were we called before all this BS happened? Before all this oppression and overtaking happened, man. Anyway, uh, 1 Peter 1 and 1. Peter, an apostle of Yahweh Shai, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, see, Bithynia. Now, you think that was the only scattering? We got scattered from over there to. It was just certain regions that the Most High wanted us to go first. It even says in the scriptures, go to the Jew and then Greek, which is not. That's a different Greek that's talking about the Grecians of the Israelites, because we're just like now we're calling ourselves Americans, we're calling ourselves Greeks. No, I'm a Greek, man. You know, nah, you from Israel? No, man, I'm from Greek. My mother's a Greek. You know, and a lot of even our people today believe that, what your mother is who you are. Like on some weird ass shit. Because the the so-called what the Jewish people believe, which are the synagogue of Satan, they believe that the seed line can come from the mother or the father, and they usually lean toward the mother, but that's false, man. The seed line comes from the father all the time. He's a seed layer, the seed bearer. That's why a woman can become barren, because if the seed don't interact, if the Most High don't want it in there, it ain't going, and she becomes barren. But if he chooses seed, because he's the bearer, he's the one that bear the seed in her, then she's gonna have a child. But you got all of us that have been scattered, in different places, and hey, throughout our history, we fell in love with heathen women, man. Look at Solomon. So best believe it's a lot of us that look Chinese, look Japanese, look Korean, look East Indian, but you can still see that Israelite glow in them and shit. We like something different about this child, man. Put him over here. They call the Native Americans Asians, but they don't mix the Native Americans with the Asians. Why the Native Americans are uh, more more mentioned and more compatible with Negroes, But it's some history behind that too. It's the history behind Moab and Ammon. The daughters of Lot and Moab and Ammon coming out of that. I mean, you know, um, yeah, it's you know, it's like it's not so cut and dry, but by the Spirit cuts all that. But you know, um, Shem, you know, Moab and East Indian and Asher and all that come from Shem, and so it's a dealing with that too. But these Hamites, Cush and Put and Mizraim and Canaan and they're totally different, you know, breed. They come from Ham, man. You know, they're the sons of Noah. They're themselves, So it ain't no way that we're Africans, man. We come from the line of Shem, and you could evidently see that through our spirit, even so. Shem means Sham, the name. Most High put his name on us. He named us Jacob. Then he named us Israel even after that. A stronger, more powerful name that you'll have amongst men and amongst gods. You are a prince of the power. You are God. You are a God-like figure. You're supposed to be immortal. You know? So the Most High is severing us from among these nations, man, through the Spirit. The Spirit is strong enough to cut through anything, man. Cut through the bullshit. Oh, okay. You look at a guy and he looks like your people. Okay, we're gonna see through the Spirit. Then you find out he was a fake, a clone or whatever. You know, and he was because it's a lot of people gonna lie, man. Say they from the. There's a lot of people that lied back then. Oh, I'm from the seed of, you know, or they thought they were from the seed of Abraham. That Abraham was their father. No. Just like the elders always mention that, you know, it was different nations implanted into Samaria, you know, which is capital of Israel, that made them feel like they were the children of Abraham too. Like, nah, y'all just came here, man. Like, y'all ain't from our seed and land and fathers. Like, if I went to go over in China, I'd just be a Negro in China, man. You know, or a Reubenite in China. If I went to any Africa, I'd be a Negro in Africa, man, an Israelite in Africa. And I'm saying that humbly as far as being Israel. But yeah, the spirit doesn't connect, man. But you know, these Negroes back to being doing that, saying African American. Negroes always just try to find a better way to be accepted by the so-called white man. Now you go in there and application, you put African American, you feel better about yourself. You feel better than the downtrodden Negro, blacks, swarthy, spooky, derogatory termed Negro. Well, we can get a job with this. I'm an African American. I'm not black. I'm African American. Nah, you saying that you're your father, the devil, man. Who is your fathers? Let's go back to who the two-thirds fathers is, man. America Vespucci, this guy. Who's that other dude? Scipio Africanus. That's his bus. But same deceit, same ignorance, stupidity on some levels. Nothing new under the sun. And you know why people don't realize get into this? Because they don't believe that they were these people. They don't believe that we were under the Roman Empire. They believe those were white people over there. They don't believe that they were under Antiochus Epiphanes. They don't believe that they were under Alexander the Great. They think all they want is this American bullshit history of people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and shit. So in love with this black stigma. They don't go beyond the history of being involved. They don't believe King David is their origin of their fathers. King Solomon, all the prophets, Noah, Ezekiel, Moses. They don't believe that they were so-called black men. That we had the same racial tensions and same racial battles and of our trying to protect our heritage. They don't know that we were the Spartans. You know, just because it wasn't called black and white, it was called nations. It was called the Romans against the Jews. It was called the Greeks against the Romans. It wasn't, this little bitty bullshit, cherry picked, little origins of who you think you were, are in this demon ass America, man. This ain't nothing but a corporation. This is just a money making machine, a piggy bank, a harlot. You ain't even at home, man. Fuck out of here, man. Trying to build a community. You ain't even home to be building anything. And if you try to build a community in America, you're building on another man's foundation. They got it wrongfully, yeah, but that's over with. You can't turn those. You can't turn that back. You can't make up for that unless the Most High deals with your ass, and He's gonna deal with Edom His way by sending missiles over here. This place is gonna be uninhabited, like we always say. America is going down, and that's gonna knock the fate of these elites, knock the fate of who is it, Vespucci, because they love these dudes. I mean, they not so much. They following the character and the mannerisms of the. They proud of these their fathers, man. You know, they still look into history of these guys and embrace it and will that same energy upon Jake, against Jake. Yeah, he's not. You know, they're trying to keep his legacy alive and shit. And you know, if you read about Nero and Vespasian and Domitia, and they get into that reviving. You know, they might as well call America the reviving of Roman Empire, man. But it's not going to be revived. They're at the end of it, basically. You know, it's nothing new on it about this war order. They attempted it with what do you call it? With Nimrod, building of the tower. Who did the apostles say to? Antiochus. This is their last attempt, and if this don't work, it ain't, which it ain't gonna work. They gonna be like, fuck, man, because they know that they running out of time. That's why they gonna do something quick. Because if this don't work, it's over. You know, they already had 3 attempts, whatever, how many attempts they had to build a new world. It never happened. Most High didn't allow it to happen during the time of Tower of Babel. This is Babylon over again. They're trying to come together, trying to make this one language, one people. People ain't with that. It had to be the Most High behind that anyway for that to happen. You know, Most High would have to allow it. Anyway, yeah. At this point, I'm just talking a little bit, but hope you both been edified, man. If I left anything out, man, correct me if I'm wrong, have been wrong about anything, but hopefully it was edifying, man, and get to the next video. Shalom.